Hello everybody. In this video we're going to look over some of the homework problems that were assigned. I gave you 3. We'll take a look at each one of those, but before I jump into it I have, as I usually do, a life lesson for all of you. Okay? And that is, for those of you that are thinking about having kids and a family, let me warn you here. This is what happens when you walk away from your computer for about 2 minutes with a 4-year-old on the loose in the house, okay? Just saying, you were warned. Anyway, sorry, proud daddy. Okay, back to this. Here we go. So let's look at this one. So for this one, number 4, if we have this thing, a plus 2b plus 2b, blah, 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 equals 5, and that whole thing also equals 5, what is the value of a plus 2b plus 4c? So let's just set this up. So we want to figure out, this is the goal. What is a plus 2b plus 4c is equal to what? And then we're given 2 equations. Now, typically when you're given 2 equations, what you should first do is let's just set them up vertically. All right, let me just do this. When we have a system of equations, the easiest way to solve these is to put them in this format here. So I'm just going to do that for a moment. So we have the first equation is that, the second equation is this, plus 3c is equal to 5. Okay, so now, our goal is going to be somehow that we can combine these equations together by adding them such that we end up with this thing. Because remember we talked about this. On the SAT, you look at this and you think, oh, I've got to figure out what A is, I've got to figure out what B is, I've got to figure out what C is, and then plug all those things in and then solve for it. That's almost never the case. There's almost always a way that you can combine these things together in such a way that you end up with this right here. Okay, but now let's just look at this for a minute. This is where we should be a little suspicious. Notice, I'm going to just box it in here. Notice we have, for each of these equations, we have the thing that we want. We have a plus 2b, right? Each of them has a plus 2b, a plus 2b. But then they both have different c values. I'm going to just highlight those like so. So this one's got 2c, and this one's got 3c. Okay, so neither of them has 4c. They have different values. But notice we have a plus 2b plus this value of c equals 5. And this bottom one says a plus 2b plus a different value of c also equals 5. I want you to just pause the video just for a moment and think about what does that suggest about what the value of c is? If you can have different values of c, different numbers of c, and you still end up with the same result, it should indicate that c is 0. But let's prove it. I think that's what we're going to get, is c is going to be 0, but let's just show that that would be the case. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's try to solve for c. Let's see if we can figure out what c actually is for these equations. Okay, my hunch is it's equal to 0, but let's try this. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's put those equations up again. A plus 2b plus 2c is equal to 5, and the bottom equation is a plus 2b plus 3c is also equal to 5. Let's add them together in such a way that the a and b terms cancel out, and we're left with just the c. And we just solve for c and see what it is. Okay, no, see what it is. No pun intended. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, in order to cancel them out, either the top or the bottom has to be negative, and I'm just going to do the top one. I'm going to make this one negative, that one negative, that one negative, and that one negative, right? I basically multiplied the entire top part multiplied by -1, right? And that got me to here. And then I can just add these things together. So let's see. Negative a plus a, well, that's just 0, right? Because 0a. -2, well, that's also 0. Negative 2c plus 3c, well, that's going to be positive 1c, or just c, is equal to -5 plus 5 is equal to 0. So what we figured out was that c is, in fact, equal to 0. Okay, so now let's think about this. Well, if c is equal to 0, well then a plus 2b plus 4 times 0 is just the same as a plus 2b, which has to be equal to what? Well, we figured out a plus 2b plus, well, 2 times c is 0 is 5, and a plus 2b plus 3 times 0, well, that's also 0, is also equal to 5, so a plus 2b is equal to 5. So therefore, a plus 2b plus 4c, well, it really doesn't matter what number we put in front of c, because it's just 0, it's always going to be equal to 5 is our answer. Okay. This video is running a little long. I'm going to pause here, and we'll do the next two in the next one.